Hello, my name is Natasha Trenev, and I'm the founder of the whole field of probiotics. I've been in the health food industry and the alternative health practitioner industry for 60 years. I'm 77 years young. I still work 8 to 10 hours a day. And I just want to make certain that people understand why the gut or the gut health is the gateway to all disease. I'm certain you've heard about this many times over, but the problem is that even though people understand what the name probiotics supposedly means, and they've been exposed to parasite cleanses, colon cleanses, body cleanses, juice fasting, everything under the sun, we still have 80% of our people in our country, our beautiful country, chronically ill, and medical uh, science is now held guilty for that, or the use of our healthcare system, which I wouldn't even call a healthcare system, and why 60% of our children are chronically ill and still not getting better. I think the information in our business, which is health foods and alternative healthcare practice, has not really done service to the individual because, unfortunately, from my perspective, and in my humble opinion of being in this industry for 60 years and selling millions of bottles of my probiotics, I have not seen this information get better. And I'm not seeing a lot of people get better because people are using dietary supplements to treat symptoms, which from my perspective and from being so long in this industry, know that dietary supplements were never meant to treat symptoms unless you have a true deficiency. And I think the understanding of digestion and gut health, the understanding of enzymes, probiotics, and the taking of other dietary supplements is completely not understood by the layperson. And the practitioner follows protocols which very intellectual, astute people who understand the science are passing on to them. But the misfortune is that there is no industry oversight of what those supplements may contain or whether they really have the effect on the body that the people are looking for. So if you've been a person who is still chronically ill, there seems to be an explosion of something called SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, especially among young women. Colon cancer is rising exponentially. Our children can't think, can't control their emotions, can't progress through a school and learning like a normal child. I think we have huge issues, and I wanted to take this opportunity to just give it to you in a nutshell. If we don't understand what true probiotic organisms are and who really understands not only which ones to select based on decades of knowledge and how these organisms need to be fermented and how they need to be taken in what amounts and by each person, because each person is a unique individual, not just because of their look or their fingerprint identity. The composition of their microbiota in their microbiome is unique to them, like their fingerprint. And people are buying probiotic supplements as a foundation for their health based on pretty packaging, on beautiful websites, on sexy people pushing the sale, not knowing that these people who are selling these products don't even own a manufacturing facility, have never formulated a product in their life, and they're putting together products based on published data. And I can just tell you, reading something and learning about it is not the same as actually making the product and understanding what these bacteria need. And since I come from a family that has been in the fermented foods field for 750 years, I understand from my family, and for being the first person who introduced natural style Bulgarian yogurt, one of the first people to introduce the concept of acidophilus in the 1960s while I was still a student in Hollywood High School and then a student at UCLA. I understand what these specific organisms that evolved with human beings mean and why they should be taken in a certain way. And we shouldn't be fooling around with what I call designer probiotic organisms. And the reason people sell these is because they want to get some kind of a result from the individual so that they believe they're getting better. But microorganisms are a lot smarter than we are. And if we're going to use probiotic organisms to really allow the body to heal itself, we have to have a unique understanding of their use and why they can benefit us or not benefit us. Basically, I tell you that I've only stuck with 4 organisms in my entire career in this fermented field and the field that I started we call now probiotics. The organisms I use are Lactobacillus acidophilus, and I use a strain called DDS1 or NAS that has been in the literature for over 100 years, has 10,000 published research articles, and has helped millions of people for well over several decades. And I can testify to that because the people are still buying the product. Then I was the first one to introduce the concept of bifidobacteria, which now has become big. But in the 1980s, I can assure you, no one knew what I was talking about. And bifidobacteria are the most important bacteria for the large intestine. Why? Because the large intestine doesn't have any oxygen, and that's where these bacteria like to live. They're not going to live anywhere or perform any duty for us unless we give them the opportunity to go in the body where they want. For instance, bifidobacteria will only stay in the large intestine, which is the colon is also found. And they're very important as part of the final period of our digestion and absorption. And they're very important in what I call the waste and disposal system to help our liver. Lactobacillus acidophilus is, in my view, in many ways more important because why? Acidophilus is in 20 feet of the small intestine. And it is very critical to help us break down our food, absorb it correctly, and communicate with the immune cells and actually help to educate them. This has been cited in mounds of literature. And anytime you choose a different lactobacilli, you have to know all of the consequences of adding that lactobacilli to your formulation to see if people are really going to be helped. Because if you don't understand this, you say, oh, I've taken a probiotic. It comes in a pretty package. It sits on the shelf and they tell me it's shelf stable. But gosh, I've never felt better. That's why. Because the products are made to meet your understanding. They're not really meant to educate you, which is very tough. They're not really making the hard decisions to sell you a product that they know is safe under all conditions and will help you give the body the tools it needs to heal itself. So Lactobacillus acidophilus is not only important in the small intestine, it's very important to our reproductive health. It's very important to our brain health. It's very important to our circulatory health. It's important for every function in the body. Bifidobacteria will only go in areas where there's no oxygen because they're not going to waste their cellular energy to impress us. So yes, they're very important and they serve a vital function, but they're only part of the story. Now, the third bacteria I introduced was Lactobacillus bulgaricus. Why is Lactobacillus bulgaricus so important? It happens to be one of the yogurt bacteria, and nobody really wants to deal with it or make it because it's so difficult to culture, to stabilize, and to maintain any form of potency. But this bacteria is very important because it was cited even in the 1930s as the longevity bacteria. That's why it's called Lactobacillus bulgaricus, because it was named by a famous Russian scientist, Lactobacillus, and then bulgaricus because it was found in famous natural style Bulgarian yogurt. And that was why the Bulgarians attributed their longevity to this wonderful yogurt. And this bacteria is incredible because it has a very unique function in the body. It actually helps to pre-digest our food and is much more effective than any enzyme you can think of because it works with the body. It's evolved with us. It's been part of our history for thousands of years. And so this bacteria is very important because it has an ultimate stimulation of the immune system. By the way, so does Lactobacillus acidophilus. And immune education and immune cooperation is very important because when you choose the right bacteria, it can be phenomenal and really help the human being get to a healthy state. The fourth bacteria that I introduced was Bifidobacteria infantis. Again, the first one in North America to introduce this bacteria. and it was only found in healthy breastfed infants. Well, why should you know about it if you're not an infant? Because this bacteria is lacking in well over 95% of the infants born in North America that are naturally delivered and breastfed. And that goes back decades. That's part of the problem we have, because that bacteria is essential to educate the immune system to tolerate food as it goes across the intestinal wall, and to make sure that the immune system has the right approach to dealing with the individual's health and optimizing their health. And this bacteria has become very important to all people of all ages who have a sensitivity to digestive issues. And listen, I could talk to you about 3 hours. I'm just trying to give you the tips that are necessary, because unless you understand the premise of what gut health is and who you should really be listening to, it's not about selling product. I've been doing this for 60 years. I didn't stay here this long because I need to sell you a product. I'm not interested in that. I'm an old-fashioned health food aficionado who came into this industry because I really wanted to help people. And if you don't understand how you're trashing your body by eating foods that are over-prepared, that have chemicals, many times well-known people have said that we have about 1,000 chemicals in our food supply that is not allowed by the EU. We have to process those chemicals. Our body has to deal with those toxins. We have toxins in the air. We have toxins in the water. And that's why we have children who are chronically ill, because the parents who give birth to these children are not healthy themselves, because we have a chronic illness crisis in our country. So when you're given the improper information and you're sold something that really doesn't work for you, this is when we have the problem. I'm inviting you to test whether I'm telling you the truth or not. Try our products, because our products don't cure disease. Our beneficial bacteria are specifically chosen, specifically grown to help that very complex microbiota composition in your microbiome, and the 27 feet of GI tract and everywhere else in your body, including your brain cells. So if you've not had success by using any other recommended regimen, I would suggest that you try our probiotic protocol. And I have spent decades researching a good low carbohydrate diet, which still stands the test of time because it was developed by a medical doctor and me years ago. It's free on my website, natron.com. You can download it. I don't ask you to pay anything for it. And I've also had a nationally recognized fitness expert devise a walking program that I want in conjunction with our precision probiotics, because here is the triangle of health: precision probiotics, the right diet, and the right exercise program to be healthy. Any program that has you using a lot of dietary supplements is not doing you a lot of good, because all these dietary supplements cannot be handled by the body and usually just end up enhancing the urine that goes into your toilet. And that's the God's truth. Why are we not seeing more people healthy, even though we have 70 years of this alternative medicine, of all these dietary supplements that are sold to these people? And I have to ask you this fair question. Why are people not getting better with alternative healthcare practitioners? What is the number there? I don't know the number, but I would say if we had a large number of people getting better, we would not see those statistics of people who are using the system that is current now and not getting better. We have to get the information out to the people. We have to give them a chance to give their life a better start, their children a better start, and to make sure that they're digesting their food, that their food is not being dumped undigested because you're using something to stop the acid production in your stomach, because that system has gone bad. And now you're dumping undigested food that rots all the way down your intestinal tract. Then you wonder why you feel terrible. That's just one explanation. Like I said, this is a 3-hour lecture. So my challenge to you is, if you've now gone through the holiday and if you abused your system, remember, when you drink alcohol, not only is it a class A carcinogen, it also intensifies the absorption on anything you eat. So if there's anything toxic in your food, make certain that you be careful what alcoholic beverage you consume, because now if those toxins are in the food, they're going to become much more bioavailable to your body because the absorption is going to be enhanced by that alcohol. And plus, the alcohol will be destroying some of the natural microbiome that keeps you healthy in the first place. So people are giving information out of context. They don't know what to believe. They don't know who to trust. But I am here to tell you, I am still working because I want to see you healthy. I want to see you happy. I want to see our nation regain its health. And I want to see pioneers like me come back to the industry and really produce products that deliver what they promise and stand behind their product and don't have 50 SKUs in their product line because they're trying to make money, or they have a marketing plan and then they go to a contract manufacturer and make a dietary supplement. You know, health is a very precious thing and it's very difficult to regain once you lose it. So here's my challenge to you. Try a 30-day program using our Natren precision probiotics. Try the diet, try the walking plan, and then share your story with me. And then I want to surprise you because I want to see your beautiful face. I want to see your children's healthy face. And by the way, if you're giving your children gummies, forget it. It's an excuse to have a sugary treat. You're not going to get a good dietary supplement using a gummy. We need to grow up as a nation. We need to change our thinking, and we need to be able to understand in depth what we're consuming, why we're consuming it, and what it's going to do for us. So I welcome your questions. Give me a question, challenge my expressions here, challenge what I'm saying, tell me what you think, and let's have a fair discussion. My only interest is to get you better and to get our country better. Thanks for listening. And next time I'll tell you some more things that you need to know.